What's up, guys and gals? It's your boy Jeff coming back to you with another Extreme Nerd Table, guys. We're going to be talking about a couple of topics, and I actually got Randall with me today. And Randall was on another show just now, but what is it, Randall? It's every month?
Yeah, it's once a month. We just basically talk about like upcoming books that come out. So my buddy Rick, he will talk about what Marvel books he thinks are like coming out that people should check out. I talk about
Right,
DC, and
right.
then our other buddy Jay, he talks about like independent books.
Ah, okay, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, but, you know, so what do you like? The two topics that are main is the She-Hulk casting and Kang casting. So what do you think?
I think it's pretty solid casting. I think it's solid casting. Like, I mean, if I worked in Hollywood and they say, "Hey, who would you
Right,
cast?" I wouldn't have considered them.
right,
Like I wouldn't have thought of them.
right.
The actor that they got for Kang, he's doing very, very well right now. He's on the
Oh, yeah,
HBO series.
Lovecraft Country. The main
Yeah,
character from Lovecraft Country. Yep.
yeah. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard nothing but stellar,
Right.
like great reviews, great, talks about the show. So good for him, good
Right.
for his career. I really hope. So it's funny. People keep thinking like, "Oh, Kang's going to be the new Thanos. Like he's going to be like the new big bad." But
Right.
the other comparison I heard also is that he's going to be the new quote unquote Loki, where he'll be sort of like the
Mm.
reappearing villain in all the other movies.
Yeah, but I don't.
But he's
My
not
thing
going to be.
is, I don't. Yeah, I don't need him to be jokester type because we already have, a jokester type character, so we don't need another jokester type villain. You know what
I
I mean?
mean, even though technically Loki's dead, they are doing the Loki miniseries because of
Right.
the
Right.
alternate universe Loki that escapes with the with one of
Yeah, the
the
cube.
yeah. So
Yep.
we're gonna see what happens to that character. I
Well.
believe. I believe that's what they're planning to do.
Well.
We'll see. Hey, what's up,
What's?
superhero reviews?
Yep.
Hanging
You
in
was
there,
in the
hanging
chat.
in there. Just another
Yep.
Sunday. I've been actually really busy today. I don't. I
Good.
normally lately have been working from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and then
Right.
today they decided to have me work from 8 a.m. to 12. And
That's
I
cool.
didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So as soon as I got off work, I came home, took a nap, had
Mm.
a dream that I was hanging out with uh, Jeff Goldblum, and then woke up from
Oh
the dream.
boy.
Yeah, we were hanging out in New York, but not New York City, just New York. It didn't even look like New York, but for some reason we
Okay.
were like, hey, yeah, Jeff Goldblum said it was New York, so I was like, okay.
Yep.
But so, anyways, did that. I had to, go back to work because I forgot something at work, and then from there I went
Right.
to go um, get my money orders ready for the upcoming shipment and books coming out Tuesday, and then stopped at U-Haul to update some payments for my storage unit, for
Oh,
all
okay.
the thousands
Right.
of comics that I have in storage, and then back home rest, and now here we are.
Right.
But for the most part, yeah, the casting, my biggest fear of casting Kang and having him introduced in Ant-Man,
Mhm.
my biggest fear is that he will be the main villain of the movie,
Mhm.
and like a good chunk of the Marvel films, they kill off the villains. So it would really, really
Well,
suck. They
because don't forget, King's a time traveler, so they can't really. They can kill off one, and
have another
they
one.
could, yeah, have another one because he can keep coming back. Because don't forget, he time travels a lot, so they can say, "Oh, we killed this one
Yeah, I
off." Yeah.
mean, they have to be. I'll tell you right now, they need to be very, very careful, very, very
Yep.
careful with the whole time travel
Well, well, don't forget
aspect.
that's what they did with the Infinity Stone thing. So that could be the effects of them since they
Oh,
used it
sure,
for.
sure. I
Yeah.
mean, there's also talks of you have the Doctor Strange 2 film, which is going to be
Mm.
the Multiverse of Madness. So
Right.
obviously going to be from the effects of, because remember,
Right.
when they jump into an alternate timeline, it's an alternate universe
Right.
where they're pulling the stones.
Right.
It's almost like the butterfly effect, right? Like,
Yeah.
you jump into one
Yeah.
universe, you make one change, you've now created a new universe
Right.
because of the
Or
actions
yeah,
that you.
it's splinters because they
Yeah,
said that you
it's
take the
runners.
stone out and you don't return the stones on time.
Yeah.
It just splinters everything.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. They have to be very, very careful because this is where you can start to now confuse your audience. And if you confuse your
Mhm.
audience, people are just going to be. I've seen people where they get confused watching a movie that they just quit.
Mm,
You know, they're like they don't understand what's going on. They're like, oh, I'm out. I don't know what's going on. I'm frustrated. I don't care.
right.
I'm done.
But
You know.
the one I'm excited for is the Shang-Chi movie. That's the one I'm excited for. It's a Shang.
Oh, the Shang-Chi.
Yeah. I always screw it. I always screw his name up anyway.
Yeah, Shang-Chi will be interesting.
Yep.
Um, I
Because
wonder how big
it's
of a
gonna
role.
be it's gonna be interesting to introduce the Mandarin because the actor that plays the Mandarin, a lot of the Cantonese, like a lot of the Hong Kong
Yeah,
fans and a lot of the Asian fans are pissed off because he's never been cast as a villain. He's always been cast as a hero.
really.
Yeah, so now he's been cast as, in the U.S. They're casting him as a villain. So
You know
yeah,
what you never know. You never know with Marvel.
yep.
It could be another one of
Ben
those like,
Compton's in the chat. What's up, brother?
hey, what's up,
Yeah,
man? It could be one of those like, remember when they fooled everyone in Iron
right,
Man 3?
right.
And like
But
I remember,
but my thing is, I'm hoping not because they already pulled that once, and they can't. I don't want them to pull this thing
and
again,
they
and
did it
then
again. Yeah,
yeah,
they
they're
just
gonna go
totally
like
ruined the Mandarin.
yeah.
I
So,
mean,
but he
I hope
doesn't
that,
like. Well, he came out. He doesn't care that
yeah.
he's just happy that he's casted in the U.S. But he doesn't really care. He at least he has a
Oh yeah,
part.
yeah. There's a
But
lot of
the big thing is all his fans are going online and saying, hey, this guy shouldn't be cast as a villain. Should be the so. What I'm worried about is they're gonna make him into a and like somehow make him into an anti type character when he's
oh
not.
yeah, yeah. The Mandarin, instead of being a villain, he's gonna be like, oh, I'm actually a good guy.
Yeah, or like how they made Thanos, like he's not completely evil, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Thanos is pretty evil. He's pretty
But
evil.
yeah, no, but I'm just saying, not, but yeah, but you could see
He's
where
evil
he
enough
was,
that he wants to wipe out all of life in the universe.
but you could see where he was coming from still,
Right, right,
you know what I
right.
mean?
His
Right,
intentions, like his
right.
motivation,
But like I
But I
said,
mean, yeah.
but what I'm worried about is that's what they're gonna do to the Mandarin character, saying, hey, he's not, he's not completely evil, but the reason he is this way, this is why, you
His
know what I mean?
intentions.
So
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah,
I mean, a lot of times the best villains are the ones that have the best intentions,
hmm
like Magneto.
right,
Magneto has always been one of those villains where he's
right.
like, he hates the humans. Hey,
What's up,
what's up,
Javi?
Conquistadors? Magneto's always been one of those guys that's like,
hmm
oh, he's all about mutant kind. He's about protecting his own people, and then like anybody against his own people, anybody attacking his people, he's going to go after them. They're the enemy. They're the bad guys, and he can be ruthless.
Right,
Sometimes he can be like really intense, and it's like, and you understand why he's acting the way he's acting because
right.
in a way, if we were put in this similar position, and that's why like when they first started doing the X-Men films, it was the whole mentality of like, hey, Professor X is Martin Luther
hmm
King Jr.
Right.
and Magneto is
Yeah.
Malcolm X, so it's
Right.
like, it's that mentality of like, we got to fight and protect our people, but there's two ways of going about it. So like that kind of comparison, I think a lot of people can relate to it, that kind of sense of realism and understanding, so I get that. MCU's main villain needs to be Doctor Doom. It just needs to be,
Mm.
the only question is when they
Who
finally,
they're gonna who they're gonna end up casting as them?
yeah, I
Then
would love Michael Fassbender to be Doctor Doom. Like he did such a good job as Magneto. It's like, come on, give him Doctor Doom. You know, um,
yeah,
just
yeah,
he's such a very good actor, and he just kind of controls the scene.
right,
Like seeing how intense. And the sad thing too is like, I don't even think like he played a good Magneto, but I don't even think they wrote Magneto well enough for him to reach his full potential, which I think is a good thing because now he can kind of reach his full potential as a villain playing as
but
Doctor Doom.
you know what? The one thing I was thinking, why didn't they cast James Hahn as the Mandarin? But he's too old now. But
He's
that would
still
have been, yeah. But it would have been still cool to have him. They actually cast him as the Mandarin because he's played the similar character before.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, his character is very
Yeah,
similar to the Mandarin, except the Mandarin's a little bit more.
yeah,
Um,
but now we get to see his range of how evil he could, how evil he could actually play it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. So there's that, and then
Well,
and
they
then
could have they could de well one thing they could have done is they could still cast him and de-aged him. You know what I mean? De-aged him a little bit, and he would still
yeah. I mean, they could have done that, but I mean, I think the other thing too is that so many people recognize James Hong. You
as
know, yeah,
as
they
him.
recognize him. So like, they want to make the Mandarin very intimidating. So
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta find the right kind of like Asian actor to
Yeah,
play a very
but
intimidating.
it would have been funny just to have a cat, and then everybody would have went, "Oh man, this is just low
Yeah,
pan as the as the, that's probably why they didn't want to do that because they would have
dude,
probably
they could have had like what do you call it in Doctor Strange
yeah
when you have the ancient one. Like they could have had him play the ancient one.
oh yeah
You know, instead of
hmm
a white
hmm
British lady.
yeah yeah
Marvel got some heat. They got some
yeah
flack for that. The whole
yeah
casting. Yeah.
actually yeah they did they got a but even from Daisy from the chick that played Daisy on Agents of Shield she even
Oh yeah,
scolded them
she
for
spoke
it
up. Yeah, she spoke up. Yeah,
yeah
I remember that. Yeah. And then as far as the casting for the She-Hulk, I think she's a fantastic actress. I've heard nothing but great things about her
Or
because she's
yeah,
on
because
Peep Show.
I watched the Orphan Black, and I'm like, I was trying to pin to see who it was, and then they said, oh, the main lady from Orphan Black. I'm like, and I remember, I'm like, yeah, she could. She played all kinds of different characters in that one. She played like
The,
6 different characters in that one.
yeah. But the only thing is like when we think of She-Hulk, we
hmm
see tall, kind of like muscular, like
Yeah, but don't
fit.
forget when they change. When she changes, they're gonna have either CGI her huge, or either have a different actor play the stunt double to play the 6 foot something stunt double to play her.
But the tough part, okay, here's the tough
Mm-hmm.
part. The tough part is when you do that for a television series,
Mm-hmm.
it gets expensive.
Yeah.
So the thing is
They're not gonna
how
have a change. I don't think they're gonna have a change too much. I think what I'm thinking is they may have do the like how Greg Horn has her on some covers where they have her like green sometimes and then you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, no,
So
I agree. I agree. I think there's going to be like I don't know, man. Like
but
I,
I can already see one scene is probably her in a court case getting really pissed off.
well, I mean, we got to do the origin, right? We got to see
Right.
how
Right.
she becomes She-Hulk. You can't just
Well,
have her automatically
I,
become She-Hulk.
I'm hoping that they keep it semi to like a little bit to the comics where he actually like donated blood to her somehow and
Yeah,
she
yeah. That's the big thing too. Is hopefully what's his
or
name appears as Bruce
change it
Banner.
around where she donated blood to him and somehow his blood a little bit of his gamma radiation got into
I mean,
the needle or something.
she is a lawyer, so there's always a
Yeah.
chance that maybe she's a lawyer in a big crime case involving
Yeah.
a killer or involving a mobsters.
Yeah.
And they try to kill her, and so because in the process of her getting
Right.
assassinated or whatever, getting killed, like she's
Yeah.
losing a lot of blood.
And
So
that's how they're gonna bring the Hulk in. And
that's a possibility.
the only reason they can't even do the Hulk, freaking the Hulk,
Yeah.
movies or anything like that because Universal owns the property of the Hulk.
No, I know.
So
I know.
yeah, that makes me laugh. I'm like, yeah, but how can he still be in, Marvel Avengers, but he can't? Oh, now you can't have him in because the contract they
It's
have.
because they work out a deal, and it's perfect for Universal
Yeah.
because Universal basically doesn't have to put any money in. They
Yeah.
don't have to put any creative process in. All they do is it's like you own a car and someone's like, hey, can I borrow your car? It's like, yeah, you can borrow my car, $50 a day or $100 a day.
Right.
You're leasing it out, and
Right.
it's like you're gonna get they get their money.
Right.
Marvel gets to use the characters, but Universal is going to get a chunk of that money.
Yeah.
And because like Sony was kind of like doing the same thing, kind of, but that deal kind of expanded with Disney and Marvel. But
Right.
but yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, like I hope
Because
it's good.
Sony was going bankrupt, so they offered
Yeah.
some money.
I think what's funny is like because she is a lawyer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised like if this was like a secret surprise way of introducing Daredevil. You know, we might get to see Matt Murdock
Right.
appear. You know,
Right.
like
That would be
this.
cool to have the actual actor from the TV show event
We'll
from the
see. We'll
Netflix
see.
show.
We'll see. Because if they do that, if they actually do bring the actors from the Netflix show on there, then you can actually say that
Right.
this will be the first time that they can say that the Netflix shows and the other TV shows are connected to the cinematic universe.
Right. Ooh,
This
the
table
more the
is
biggie shit.
extreme.
Yeah. So what? You
What's
know
going on with
anything
the
about?
Loki show?
Yeah. You know
Um,
anything?
it's moving along. I think the biggest thing that they're focused on right now is
It's COVID.
yeah, there's that. But I mean, like the biggest thing I think they're focused on right now is Winter Soldier, um, Falcon, that
Yeah.
show, and the
Wanda and
Wanda, um,
Wanda and Vision show.
yeah, the WandaVision. Cool thing is WandaVision has been confirmed. It's coming out this year, so it could be end of November, it could be middle of
Right.
December. But we will finally start getting a Marvel TV show miniseries, or excuse me, Marvel TV show miniseries. We will finally get that on Disney Plus, which is great because Disney Plus doesn't have enough original programming. All they got right now is for me is Mandalorian and Clone Wars. I finally caught up on Clone Wars. I watched that last season.
Right.
That was great. You know, but yeah, I mean, like they're just lacking. They're lacking in content. You know, they need to make more. And so that was the whole point of making these Marvel, you know, TV miniseries. And of course, they're gonna, you know, they've had so much success with the Mandalorian that they, you know, they're already trying to do the Obi-Wan series. They're trying to do like I think Ahsoka and you know some other series
Right.
and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see where they're going to go with it. We shall see. You know, Disney Plus has a lot of potential. That's obviously not going to go anywhere.
Right.
Not like DC Universe, which was sad news. They confirmed that DC Universe is now going to be switching. It won't be
HBO Go.
DC. Yeah, it won't be DC Universe anymore. It'll be DC Infinite. Or DC Universe Infinite instead of just DC Universe. Basically, they're just switching it to a comic book digital platform, which
So
technically,
there's no more shows and stuff on it, but you can still read
yeah,
comic books on there.
yeah.
So you're paying 14 or $70 or whatever it is to just
Well,
read comic books on there now.
it's $7.99 a month,
Oh,
and
okay.
or you know, yeah, if you do $75, it's a bit of a discount right there. So yeah, if you read a lot of digital books, the cool thing they're doing too is all the new release comics. Instead of
Mhm.
waiting a year for it to drop on the platform, it will be 6 months. So you can read all the new
Uh,
comics that DC's putting out within 6 months, and
yeah.
any of the original digital comics that they plan on making. Those will be available on there as well. So, for
Oh.
example, Tom Taylor's been working on a new Injustice comic book series, and it's
Right.
digital only.
Right.
The good thing though is like if these digitals sell well enough, or after they finish the digitals, I've heard that they plan to print them into physical copies because I still prefer to buy comic books in the physical format. I still prefer to read
Right.
them that way. The sad thing is I have an iPad, and
Mhm.
I'm not using it as much as I thought I would. I'm not reading as many digital comics as I want to,
Right.
because this damn smartphone and these damn smartphone video games that I'm playing on there, eating up my time when I should be reading comic books. I should be.
I was gonna blame TikTok, but okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, you go on there, and I mean, trust me, I'm on TikTok watching a lot of videos. I mean, and learning a lot of stuff too, stuff that I'm hoping to incorporate
Yeah.
into my life in business. But yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time on my phone. I really need to get organized and scheduled and build a routine. I don't have a routine right now. It's kind of just do whatever I want whenever I feel like doing it, you know. And I need to fix that. But for the most part, yeah, it's sad. Like a lot of the shows, they aren't canceled. They are moving to HBO Max.
Right.
So HBO Max is essentially copying what Disney Plus is doing. You know, like I remember when me and my buddy Marco, we were talking about the Disney app. Like,
So
because there was
yeah,
talk.
what's going on with Marco? Marco's not in Florida anymore, right? He in
Yeah,
California
he's
for.
he's in California. He's working on a project in California. I can't speak too much
Uh,
about it, but
yeah,
he's hustling. He's making some money. He's
good,
making some connections. He's doing stuff for his career. So I'm very happy, very
good.
excited. He should be back in Florida for a break,
Right,
probably around end of October,
right,
maybe early November. So we'll see. And then he's gonna like after that break, he's going right back. If not California, he's going to New York. So he's got a lot of cool stuff
right,
lined up. I'm very excited about it. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, with DC, so like all the shows like Titans season 3, it's going to
right.
HBO Max. They did confirm and announce a season 4 for sure for Young Justice, which is great. The third season was good. I don't think it was good as the second season. They had a lot of filler episodes, I think, for the third season, and they had characters on the show that I was just like I wasn't too crazy about. Like they're not bad characters, but they weren't characters I was
Right.
excited to see. But they did some cool stuff in season 3, Young Justice. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to do for season 4. I really hope that season 4 will, really step up and it's almost like Star Trek, right? Like where
Right. Right.
it's the odd number movies that aren't as good as the even number movies. It's always the even,
Right.
right? So maybe it's the same thing with the seasons, right? Like you got like the second season, which is the best, and
Right.
then you have the fourth season that's going to come out. Hopefully, that's going to be just as good as the second season, if not better.
Right.
But they're doing that. But anyways, yeah, I mean, when me and Marco we talked about the Disney streaming service, we were talking about like what are they going to have on it? How are they going to do it? Do they even
Right.
have enough content? And I mean, of course, Disney has a lot of content, but like
Don't
compared to like,
forget the Disney Vault. They
yeah,
got all those damn cartoons and stuff and
oh yeah,
everything.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Disney Plus
And
did the smart thing.
plus they got all that Marvel stuff on top of that. So
Right. But that's what I'm saying is like they did the smart thing. They divided everything up. You had a
right,
Marvel section, you have a Pixar section, you have a
right,
Disney section. You know, um, they did the smart thing. They split all that up. So now HBO is pretty much doing the same thing, which is why they have a DC section. So like they're basically just doing what Disney's doing. And it's like they had the opportunity to break away from what Disney was doing. They had the opportunity. The DC Universe app. And here's the other thing too, right? There's numerous ways the DC Universe app could have made money, right? I'm sure you're familiar with Crunchyroll.
yeah, yeah,
So Crunchyroll offers their streaming service for free, right? They offer it for free, and you
right,
basically watch commercials. They could have done that, right? They could have copied like how Hulu does it, where like
right,
hey, we have a version where there's commercials, and then we have a version that
yeah.
if you
You
don't
pay a
want
couple
commercials,
extra.
you pay
Yeah, you
extra.
can pay extra. Yeah,
Yeah. So they could have, DC Universe could have done that to bring in and generate more revenue. If they needed more money, they could have done that. That's one way of doing it. Um, because I mean, commercials, you make money off of commercials. You have these
right,
people that will pay to have their commercials on the streaming service. So like there's ways to save that streaming service, but yeah, HBO Max kind of just I hate to use the term ruined everything, but because there are some good things that HBO Max did. Like the one really good thing that HBO Max did was it helped give us the Snyder Cut for Justice League, which I'm very excited for. Still, and
right.
actually, you want to see something cool?
Oh boy.
Got this in the mail.
Right.
I'm gonna unbox this. Well,
Yeah. Well, let me
it's not
make
a
you
box.
bigger so you can unbox it. So
Yeah. What's funny was I didn't know this came in.
right.
Apparently, this was in the mailbox from
Oh,
yesterday.
wrong box.
All right. Let's see here.
Oh, there it is.
Here we go. Basically, a couple T-shirts that I got.
Yeah. I got a
Now,
couple of Ninja Turtles ones coming.
yeah. Now,
Yeah.
both of these shirts, they're the exact same shirt. Sometimes I like to buy two of the same shirt because
Uh-huh.
I know that, eventually I wear one shirt and like 5-10 years goes by, this shirt just basically goes bad, and it's hard to find another copy of that shirt.
Right.
So you're kind of just left with nothing. But after watching DC Fandom, the first one, not the first day, not the second day, the day where they revealed the Snyder Cut trailer,
Right.
where you see Zack Snyder introducing and like showing off the trailer, and then he mentioned that there was a site, there was a where you can go to to basically purchase a shirt, and the money from the shirt goes towards a very nice cause. And so I got it. I got 2 of the shirts right here.
Right.
Got my Justice League. The cool thing, this is referred to as the associate producer of the Snyder Cut shirt.
Oh, okay.
So I got 2 of those bad boys, and you probably can't see because I'm sitting down, but I also got my DC Fandom shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So more shirts for me to wear.
Wait, yep. If people didn't know, Rando's a big DC fanboy.
Man, I'm a fan man.
Yeah.
But
No, you're a fanboy. Yeah, man, it's like it was interesting this week. It wasn't too bad. Like a couple of interesting things got announced.
yeah. A lot of cool stuff got announced. I'm excited about there's been more talks about the Flash movie. Did you hear about Henry Cavill rumor coming back to Superman? Oh yeah, they've been rumoring that for a while now. Several sites have said that they've confirmed that he signed on for 3 movies, but no major sites have backed that up and confirmed it. They're probably still in early talks. I mean, one of the biggest things in the news right now is the whole I forget the actor's name. He played Cyborg. There's a whole investigation going on how the actors were treated. The whole, everything that happened between Joss Whedon and then of course one of the heads at Warner Brothers and there's talks about like Jeff Johns, how Jeff Johns treated Ray Fisher. That's the name of the actor. So there's a lot of that going on. So they're trying to do an investigation. They're trying to. The weird thing though is that even if they do an investigation, and even though if they, they do determine that they acted inappropriately, what is the action? What is the plan here? Joss Whedon is no longer with Warner Brothers anyways, so there's really nothing that Warner Brothers could do to Joss Whedon.
The only one that's still with Warner Brothers is Jeff Johns, and they can do anything. Exactly. They can do they can demote him even more.
Clearly, Ray Fisher and Jeff Johns do not get along.
Right.
And I think this whole investigation thing is basically Ray Fisher's chance and opportunity to get Jeff Johns fired.
Yeah.
But the bad thing though is here's the bad thing. The bad thing is that Ray Fisher has to understand that Jeff Johns is extremely important, to the DC films. His talent, unless Jeff did something really, really bad, like he crossed the line.
Right.
Like he pulled a Harvey Weinstein. Unless he did something like that, then it's like, okay, yeah, you need to get rid of Jeff because that's not good. That's bad.
Right.
That cannot be tolerated.
Right.
If Jeff was basically just a jerk to Ray, and and he threatened his career and he was just rude to him, that's it still sucks. It's like but it just goes to show that they didn't get along. And so I think in a way, like some of this is like, I think a lot of the investigation really is towards how Joss Whedon handled things. Right. And I think Ray basically is just trying to tie Jeff Johns and Joss Whedon. Like Jeff allowed Joss Whedon to but the thing is that Jeff was probably not even on set when all that stuff happens, and then when Jeff finds out about it, Jeff is, probably thinking like maybe, you guys are exaggerating. Maybe you guys are lying, because he wasn't there. So like for him to take Josh's side, I don't know. And that's the
Right.
thing. Like we haven't even heard any statements from Jeff Johns. We haven't heard any
Right.
statements from Joss Whedon. Everything has been said from
Yeah, Fisher's
Ray.
camp. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ray's camp.
So I mean, I think the only real question that should be answered is, what do you want, Ray? What does
Right.
Ray Fisher want?
Right.
If he comes out and just says, like, hey, when he says, well, I want these, to be disciplined, is that, a polite way of saying, hey, I want Jeff fired. Like, I don't want Jeff
Right.
even like working on the films,
Right.
because then the thing that bugs me about that is that then clearly Ray doesn't understand how important people who understand the comic books and the characters and the quality of the characters, how important it is to have guys like Jeff, because you can
Right.
have any random guy working on a superhero film, and then you'll get a movie like Batman and Robin, or you'll get a movie like Catwoman.
Right.
We don't want movies like that,
Or Fantastic Four, the new reboot one.
Yeah, the reboot one. Yeah, that was just that was just a young director who got quick success, thinking like, hey, I can do whatever I want. The smart thing he was trying to do was he was trying to align himself with Michael B. Jordan, because Michael B. Jordan was getting a lot of success.
Yeah.
But that was the wrong film for him to team up with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And he thought, hey, we can make changes. We can do these changes, and everybody will be fine with it. And people were not fine with it. People.
I mean, they could. I mean, the Sue Storm part of it, like Sue and him being adopted brother and sister, that would have been okay. But if he would actually listen to the source material a little bit, it would have been okay. He said, "Don't even read the books, and just do it his way." That's what screwed it up.
And the sad thing too is then you have guys like Simon Kinberg. Like, I'm sure Simon Kinberg is a really nice guy. I'm sure he's really talented and he's good at what he does. But this man has worked on X-Men 3.
Right.
And but people were like, oh, but he also worked on Days of Future Past, and he worked on this, and he worked on So like for every bad Marvel film that Simon Kinberg was a part of, people would say, oh, but he worked on the good films too. And I'm just like, like maybe he just got lucky on the good films, because he wasn't the only writer on those films. But in this case, like Kinberg, like even his X-Men movie that he made, which I thought it was okay, it was decent, but I mean, like he should, like for that X-Men Phoenix, the Dark Phoenix film, for that to be his first film to direct, he should have started with something small, and worked his way to being a director. I heard there was all kinds of production issues and problems with that film, and Kinberg is one of those guys, like he's a corporate guy. He knows how to talk to the corporate people. He knows how to like tell them what they want to hear, and and convince them like, yeah, you should give me this movie. You should give me this project. I can do this. I can do that. When he worked on the Fantastic Four reboot, he was one of the writers, and the way he handled it, like Josh Trank was so upset with Fox. He was so upset with people complaining about him and his movie. Josh Trank like had a nervous breakdown basically. He just went nuts. Simon Kinberg, on the other hand, it's not his first rodeo, so like he kept it cool. Fox recognized that, and Fox was like, "Hey, you're one of the good ones. You're a real professional. Like you took the hit. This movie performed badly. You took the hit. You handled it professionally.
Right.
Here's an X-Men film for you to work on.
Right.
Josh Trank, his career he's lucky he even got another movie, man. Like his most recent movie he did was the Al Capone movie that's I think is available on Amazon right now, and he got Tom Hardy to play Al Capone. But the weird thing is like there's like, I don't know, it got a lot of bad reviews or like low stars on Amazon, so even that's not kind of helping his career. But one thing that I always remembered in an interview that Josh Trank did for the Fantastic Four reboot was he said he wanted to put, and this annoyed the shit out of me when he said it. He's like, I want to put science back into science fiction. I'm like, wow, what a what a what a guy who's full of himself. Like like really like. There's lots of other great science fiction films. So you think that you're going to come around and make this great
Right.
science fiction Fantastic Four film? No, no.
I
I
mean,
mean,
he could have done that if he actually did use the source material a little bit. He could have. You know what I
maybe,
mean?
maybe. But that's the
Yeah.
thing is like a lot of these guys they want to just take something and make it theirs. You know,
I understand,
and
but they would still need to have a little bit of the source material to figure out how to do that, how to do it their way without screwing it up, because you need to
yeah,
know
I
you
mean
have
like
fandom.
when he made Doctor Doom a hacker, I'm like, oh come on.
Yeah.
Like still nobody is able to do Doctor Doom correctly. So now
Right.
that the MCU is going to have Doctor Doom,
Right.
hopefully they do him really well. And more importantly, you need to have a really good actor to play Doctor Doom,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I really hope Michael Fassbender gets it.
Well, Fassbender or
You know
uh,
who actually I think would be okay playing Doctor Doom?
hmm.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, because he's because in the older ones he was pretty, but he only had a scar on his face. Then that's all he had, and that's
Yeah.
why he put the mask on.
What's crazy is like so many people want Robert Pattinson to play like the hero, the protagonist. But when I
Mm-hmm.
look at his face, I'm like, no, this dude, especially with his acting skills, this dude I think would make great villains. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so like if they said Robert Pattinson is Doctor Doom, I would have been like, I can see that. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
But when they say Robert Pattinson is Batman, I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Yeah.
don't like it, don't like it. Get it out of here, destroy
Mm-hmm.
it, burn it to the ground. So like people just think like I hate Robert Pattinson. I don't hate Robert Pattinson. I don't want him playing certain roles because I don't envision him, you know, playing that character. Like I don't think he's
Right.
the best choice. I want the best choice.
Right.
You know. Um,
So
so
who would
yeah,
you want if we had if they rebooted Howard the Duck? Who would you want Howard the Duck's voice to be?
Howard the Duck,
Mm-hmm.
like a voice.
Yeah, a voice that you would want Howard to have.
Well, I think one of the best underrated voice actors right now is Mark Hamill.
Well,
Like,
he's Chucky in the Chucky reboot. He's
yeah,
Joker.
yeah.
So
Well, that's the thing. Was like that was a huge surprise when he got the voice of Chucky.
right.
Because there was only one guy that was the voice of Chucky for the longest
Yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah.
and not to mention like Mark Hamill is a bigger name person than
Right,
the actual person who voiced Chucky. So I think that's
right.
why it was a big surprise. Um, but unfortunately, I don't think the Chucky movie did well enough that they're going to do a sequel to it.
Yeah,
They
but
are doing a
I'm a
TV
little
show.
but I'm a little irritated about it because what was it? Chucky's what was it? Cult of Chucky. That movie left it at a cliffhanger at the end. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
you're like,
Well, you see,
damn
the
it.
the problem with Cult of Chucky, like the problem with those Chucky films, is like it was
Mhm.
reaching a point where they were going to start becoming like straight to DVD movies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're going to be like even lower budget
Yeah, but
movies,
because
like Scorpion King.
well, the Chucky thing was it's split in between two studios.
Yeah,
MGM owns a little piece of Chucky too, and
sure.
this other movie company owns it. So the other movie company wanted to keep the same guy that was doing the movies on the big movie, but
Yeah.
he didn't want no part of it. Uh, the what was it? The Bride of Chucky lady didn't want no part of it. The guy originally did the voice.
Hmm.
Like this, all three of those guys dissed that movie. So it's like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of times they probably just read the script, they looked at the quality of it, and they're
yeah,
going to compare it to the previous films.
yeah,
And if they feel like it's not up there with that same kind of quality, like they feel
yeah,
like if it's dipping in quality,
yeah,
and not to mention like when those movies don't perform as well, guess what?
yeah, yeah.
Those actors that are returning to do those films, they're not being paid more money; they're being paid less money.
Right, right,
You
right,
know, and that's the other thing too. That's one of the biggest issues I think that some of the actors have doing those movies is coming back and being paid less.
right.
So it's like no actor wants to do that.
Well, yeah, but to come to find out, the actor that did the voice passed on the role to his daughter in Cult of Chucky, because the female lead in that movie is its actual actor, the actor's daughter that's voicing
Yeah.
Chuck.
Oh
Yeah, so
yeah,
it
he
was
probably he
funny.
probably talked them into doing that. They probably
Yeah.
were like, "Listen, what can we do to get you to come back?" He's like, "Well, you cast my daughter, or you do this, do that." You
Yeah.
know.
And then
Um,
because they left it on a cliffhanger where where Lee Ray's soul ended up in the body of the female character, and then just left it on a cliffhanger. So it was like,
yeah,
so now we
I
don't know
haven't
what the
even
hell
seen those, man. Like, I need to watch those
yeah.
movies. One day I'll buy like the collector set.
No, they're all on Netflix, man. If you got Netflix,
I
it's
don't
all
have
on Netflix.
Netflix. I don't have
Oh.
Netflix, man.
Uh,
But right now I
yeah,
am.
you're paying way too many streaming services. That's what you're doing.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, well,
I
here's the
wish
thing. Like,
my thing is I wish one thing had all of them on one thing, and then we wouldn't have to pay three different things
I'm,
on
I'm,
it.
I'm telling you that the future. Another discussion I had with Marco like a year
Right,
ago. Um, More and more streaming channels are coming up. You
right,
know, um, it's basically going to turn into internet cable, right? You have
right,
your cable box. You're going to, the smart thing to do would be a company that
right.
basically says, listen, people were paying how much for cable? I think they were paying like $100 for cable or
Yeah, 100.
$75 for
Yeah,
cable.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so someone's going to come along and they're going to say, listen, they're going to contract a deal with all these streaming services and say,
Yeah,
listen, we're going to pay you this money, because we're paying you so much in bulk.
right,
You give us a discount. And what they do is they turn around and they offer
right,
the streaming box. He's
right.
like, buy this box, and you get Netflix, you
Yeah.
get Hulu, you get Disney Plus, you get HBO Max, you get all these streaming services on our box.
What would be smart is if all the gaming systems did that, and then they wouldn't have, you know what I mean? They would have
Man,
everything
I'll
on
tell
the
you right
yeah,
now, after they announced the Xbox and PlayStation,
yeah. I
they
know,
they so you have two versions of the system. You have one system that doesn't come
I
with the
know.
CD drive.
Yep,
Yeah,
I know.
they
And
are
then
pushing.
yeah, yeah. And then the other thing was the Miles Morales books. All those things are shooting up in price because of that game almost coming. When that game
Oh,
hits, it's
wait,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, wait till Miles Morales appears in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that
But
thing will blow up.
yeah,
I thought about turning around and selling my copy, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna hold on to it because
graded.
what that book will eventually like be worth $1,000
Yeah, but just
because
grade that thing beforehand. Grade that thing because
no,
grade it and then
I don't even think I'll grade it because I don't think I'll get a 9.8. I'd
oh
rather
okay,
sell it raw, and then
okay,
someone tries to grade it.
right,
I'll get more money for that
right,
because there's so many 9.8s out there with the Miles Morales. So if I go get it graded and it's not a
right,
9.8,
right,
it's not worth it. If it's not a 9.8, it's not worth it.
right, right,
I'd rather sell it raw because if I sell it raw, then the person who's buying it raw,
right,
they're the ones thinking, "Hey, this might be a 9.8."
right,
Sure, I'll pay you hundreds of dollars for this raw copy.
right. Yeah,
So
right now, modern books are outselling golden age. Oh, well, not golden, but outselling freaking Silver Age books, man. Like price wise, some of them.
yeah, well, that's only because
Yeah,
Marvel and now DC, like they're getting smart. They
right.
realize like the speculators are kind of running the market right now,
Yeah, and
and
it's
speculators are
driving
only
it's
they're only
yeah,
hunting after books of like first appearances.
it's driving me
So,
crazy too, man. That's driving me nuts. It's like
so now
really, yeah.
there's a huge push from both publishers to create new characters, and by them creating
What's
you
up?
know by them creating these new characters, it's driving all these people to hurry up and buy these issues and turn around and flip them and sell them and all that stuff. Hey, what's up, Tat Comics?
Yep.
We're hanging in there, man. Another
Yeah.
week, we're surviving another
Another.
week.
Yep. Talking comics, talking everything, a little bit of everything.
So,
Uh. Yep.
but yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, like, my thing right now is I probably won't get Netflix. I keep saying like I'm going to get Netflix like in a couple
Well,
months.
yeah, you're gonna have to because your favorite writer stuff is gonna be coming on there eventually.
Yeah, I'm thinking January or February next year is when
Mm.
I'm going to finally jump back on the Netflix. Only
You need
because
to check out that Lock and Key one because I can
Yeah,
see that actress that plays the villain in the Lock and Key one, playing like Vampirella or playing some different character,
yeah,
but I can see it. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. Oh,
like
dude, I have The Witcher I need to watch. I have Lock
yeah,
and Key I need to watch.
yeah,
I've got
all
Umbrella
kind.
Academy season 2 I
Yeah,
got to watch. I have
right.
the last 3 or 4 seasons of Lucifer that I need to watch.
Yeah,
I have a lot of television to watch, a lot of Netflix to watch.
and a lot of
Um,
books to read on top of that.
and my thing right now is I have Amazon.
Yeah,
I'm going to have Amazon for at least 2 months.
right,
I'm going to have it for the month of September and month of October. Thankfully,
right,
I think Amazon gave me a free trial again for one
right,
month. So
right,
technically, I'm only paying 1 month for Amazon.
right,
So once Amazon is done in October,
right.
since DC Universe is ending, I will spend the last 2 months. I will spend November, December streaming, nothing but DC content.
Right.
Um, that's what I'm going to end up doing. Yeah, because once it's gone, that's it. It's gone. So there's like several shows on there, like Krypton. I still need to watch Krypton. So there's 2 seasons of Krypton. There's the original Birds of Prey television series I
Right.
wanted to watch. There's the Chance. I think that's the name of it. I forget the name of the show. There's that I need to watch. There's the Superboy television series, all 4 seasons I need to
Oh, yeah,
watch.
yeah, yeah. I forgot about that
Um,
one.
I was actually just watching one of the Superman episodes, the animated series episodes, last night. Oh no, was it? I think it was earlier today. I watched the Batman Superman crossover, The World's Finest. So like I watched that first episode. Those Bruce Timm animated shows are so good, man. The Batman animated series, Superman animated series, like those are shows that like I should be just constantly rewatching. Man, if I didn't have kids, say, I'd be watching and read a lot more than I am. You guys will
Yeah,
you guys will be reviewing these shows. Which shows? Which shows do you want us to review?
yeah.
Um, like
Just
I've been
let us
watching The
know.
Boys. I've been watching The Boys. I've been loving it. It's great.
What you think so far?
Oh, it's great. I think I like this season better than the first season.
Well, I'm not surprised. It's always second season's always better than the first one.
Not
Always.
always. Not
Yeah,
always,
well, but
but
I'm I'm glad they like veered off a little bit from the comics. At least they didn't kill off the wife, so that's a little more interesting.
yeah. I mean, I still got I still have to read most of the comics. I only read like the first 1 or 2
Hmm.
story arcs, and it's been so long, like I barely remember the
Yeah.
story arc. Um,
The only issue is don't watch it around kids. Don't watch it around your nieces. Don't watch it around your
yeah,
nephews.
yeah, that's definitely not a show for kids. Definitely not a
Nope.
show for kids. Unless you have like unless you have like a kid with a extremely high IQ and understands how the world works, and he or she is a secret genius.
Yeah.
Then maybe
Not even. Even. Not
even, what are you
even.
talking about? If they're smart enough to make an atomic bomb, I think they can handle adult content on television.
Mm. I know a couple of kids like that. They're not really, man, because their streets, their common sense is a little bit off.
Huh? You know some genius kids?
Yeah, I do.
Come on, man. Look at Umbrella Academy, like the smart kid, right?
Yeah.
Those are the type of kids that they would watch like the hard rated R movies, and they'd be like, oh, cool, next.
Yeah. Well,
And
my
you know how many
October, my
you know how many kids
yeah,
are probably playing Call of Duty, right?
yeah,
You know how many
yeah.
kids
See, my
I have
October,
Chrome,
my
Netflix or Hulu,
yeah,
so those
my
shows. Oh, okay.
yeah. So my idea for October is to do like our favorite top 10 favorite horror movies, top 10 favorite slasher
Yeah,
movies. You know what I mean? Like we'll do one
yeah.
Sunday slasher, one Sunday horror. So
You see, that's the thing is like,
yeah,
to me, slasher is horror. So whatever my slasher answer is, that
yeah,
will be my answer for my horror.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, what was it? Come to find out, you know how I've been doing research about the Hong Kong run artist,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
comic
You
artists and
mentioned that.
stuff like.
Yeah, you mentioned
Yeah.
that last.
So I did some more research on a couple of other artists. The Black Mask Jet Li movie is actually a comic book character that's based out of Hong Kong.
You know what? I remember vaguely hearing about that.
Hmm. I
Because that
read
Black
it,
Mask
and
movie, that Black Mask movie's been around since what, late '90s, I think.
yep, and it's a, well, now you guys can count it as a superhero movie because I didn't even know that. I read the thing about the guy that created it. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that.
I could have sworn. I think they talked about it one time on a Wizard magazine. I think they
Mm,
mentioned it because I mean I loved comic books. You know, everything involving comic books so much
right.
that I wanted to watch everything that was comic book related. You know.
Yeah. Dragon
Uh,
Tiger Gate's another one. Dragon Tiger Gate, it's another one.
yeah.
But it's American dubbed or American version was the comic book version in the 90s when it came
Yeah.
out this way. It was called Oriental Hero, and then when it was first came out, and when he first started writing it, was called the Little Rascals. Over there, Hong Kong was called Little Rascals. Yeah,
Little
and
rascals.
then yeah, but when he created it,
You see one guy getting like slapped a bunch of times, and he's like, "Stop
no,
slapping me!
no,
Who are you? I am
no,
Spanky."
dude, that stuff is as violent as the boys. You know what the boys are
Yeah.
now? That's
Yeah.
what those comics were then. And that's why Comics Code Authority, they created Comics Code Authority over there because of this
Well,
guy.
over there, yeah, because yeah.
Yeah.
So, question: what was you guys' first R-rated movie that you weren't supposed to watch but got to watch anyway? As a kid, I want to say maybe Predator. It had to have been
Yeah.
It had to be
Yeah.
like a Schwarzenegger film.
Yeah, it's one of the Schwarzenegger movies I remember. It's one of the
Yeah.
Arnold movies for sure.
Or maybe
I
it was
think
like Terminator, maybe. Or
yeah, Terminator T2, I don't T2 or something like that.
well, no, T2 is PG-13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Then
that's why
yeah.
Terminator 2 made like broke box office records. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you know,
But
James Cameron kind of toned it down.
right.
You know,
No, but the
um,
first rated R movie I ever saw, I think it was a horror film. I think it was like a Jason. I think it was a Jason movie. I think.
well, here's the funny thing too is like as a kid, like watching some of these rated R films. Like technically, these films are rated R, but they're on
Right.
television, so they're edited on television.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
like so you're watching a rated R film on television. You're not getting the full rated R feel
Right.
to it, you know. And as a kid, like one thing I wish my dad did a lot was he made time to like go to movies. I
Yeah.
don't think he liked going to movie theaters. My dad was a very heavy smoker, so I
Right.
think it's one of those like if he was in a movie theater and he was sitting down watching a movie, probably halfway through the movie he would want to get up, go outside, and go have a cigarette.
Right.
And so he couldn't. I don't think he could handle the movie experience anymore at that point,
Well,
which is why he probably never went to the movies. Thankfully, my older brother, he was the reason I got to go see some movies in theaters. So I got to
right.
see the Jurassic Park in theaters, which was awesome. I remember, like as a
Right.
kid, like
Right.
there was a couple scenes where I was scared. I was like, like
Yeah. Yeah.
dinosaurs,
My favorite part
Um,
was the damn when the guy goes in the porta potty and the damn T-Rex comes
yeah,
down.
yeah. I mean, that's a movie like you have to experience in the movie theater. Friday the 13th. I loved Friday the 13th. It's my favorite horror franchise. I have the Friday the 13th video game. I
Wow.
actually contributed to the Friday the 13th Kickstarter for the video game.
All right, Randall. I got one. Who do you want? Facing all like the slashers? Like which slashers would you want to see face off with each other?
The biggest two were always, Freddy versus Jason, and thankfully we
But
got that movie.
right. But I'm
Uh,
saying, would you want to see Michael versus Jason? Michael versus
yeah,
Freddy?
I would want to see Michael versus Jason just to see Jason
Mhm.
kick Michael's ass,
Mhm.
so I can make fun of my friends who are big
Mhm.
Michael Myers fans.
No,
I
what I want to see is a battle royal, but with Michael, Freddy, and all three of these guys go against each other. That would be kind of
that would be cool. That would be cool. What is it? I had a friend of mine. She was like, oh well, Halloween is the original slasher film. Blah blah blah. Like that's the best. That's the best one or whatever. And I was just like, whatever. I was just like, listen,
but
Jason.
the Jason the Michael I want is the one from zombie movies because that one's he's more intimidating.
Yeah, he was huge. That was, I think, their attempt at making like Michael kind of like Jason because Jason was always really big.
Right.
like the very huge, very intimidating,
Right.
and oddly enough and strangely enough, very quiet like ninjas.
Right. Right.
Like how are these big dudes like so quiet?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the one I want to actually, I'll be kind of funny to see is the leprechaun
Yeah,
against somebody.
Leprechaun.
Who would
Yeah.
you want to see the leprechaun fight against, though? My thing is, what would you want to see leprechaun go against?
I would like to see the Leprechaun fight the Goonies.
The Goonies.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
think the
even?
Goonies would. I know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Oh yeah. No, I know.
Can you imagine if Sloth just showed up and be like, Sloth hates leprechauns, and just kicks, he like bunts him into the ocean or whatever.
Yeah.
Sloth wins. I mean, I'm not big into horror like I used to be. Like the only thing I really care about, honestly, is Jason. Just because of it's my earliest memories of those films.
Oh,
in fact,
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the guy against because it would be.
And, I wasn't really impressed with Texas Chainsaw. I still haven't seen the original one.
But
I saw
my thing is the two. Yeah, the two against Freddy, and Leatherface against Jason and Michael. That'd be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, Leprechaun versus Goonies. Where instead of finding One-Eyed Willie's gold, they find the Leprechaun's
gold. Leprechaun's gold.
Yeah.
But
there you go. That's the plot of the Goonies sequel. It's a surprise. A dark comedy, horror comedy. Maybe we'll have the two guys. What's their names from Shaun of the Dead? Maybe they'll make an appearance, like a little cameo in the movie.
Leprechaun against Puppet Master characters.
Oh God, Puppet Master! The sad thing is, I'm pretty sure I did watch one of the Puppet Master films, but again, it's been so long, I vaguely remember it.
No, but that'd be kind of funny though, just to see the Puppet Master.
Man, I wanted to watch all the horror movies, and then I just reached a point where I'm just like, I'm just not into it anymore. Like the only things that I like to watch now are like the Universal monsters, so I love like the Dracula, Frankenstein, those classics. Like those I will enjoy watching.
Well, new school slashers against the old school monsters would be kind of interesting to see. That would be kind of interesting, but
really funny. Oh man! So like, there's a classic. Abbott and Costello meet the Frankenstein, right? Where they meet all the Universal monsters. They should do something similar to that, like Harold and Kumar meet Jason, and then it turns out it's not just Jason, but it's like Freddy Krueger and all the other slasher monsters, like a modern day like horror comedy. Like that'd be kind of fun. They're like so high, and they're like, this can't possibly be happening. Like I just saw that dude rip another dude in half. Is the Universal Monster Universe dead?
Yeah.
The original one is dead. Yes, there is kind of a new one. More of a lower budget one. It's being done through Blumhouse. Like Blumhouse is killing it with the horror, some of the horror films, and the independent
I forgot about Pinhead.
Yeah, Pinhead, which I still need to watch those as well too. Like same thing. Like I watched one of the Hellraiser films.
Chucky against Leprechaun.
Chucky, yeah, I guess
they're both the same height, so.
I feel like, strangely enough, I feel like Leprechaun would beat Chucky just because he's got more of a supernatural feel to it. Where Chucky's just a doll. You can like rip his head off and like that's it. Chucky's dead.
Right. But don't forget, Chucky can if he does the voodoo thing, he can pass his soul into things.
That's true.
Yeah. So he could actually touch the leprechaun and say a couple of things, and he could be the leprechaun if he wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean, I just feel like I don't know. I feel like watching previous like Chucky films, you have like a kid that would defeat Chucky, versus like you need like a group of adults to fight off and defeat the leprechaun.
No, what would be funny is if a kid actually brought Chucky to Crystal Lake, to camping.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
kind
mean,
of funny.
that's one of the things about Jason is like,
Mm.
um, that's why like I think when like he went to New York when they did the whole
Mm.
Jason Takes Manhattan,
Yeah.
like that was cool because we got to see Jason out of his element. We got to
Right.
see him actually. He was in a city, you know.
Right.
Even on a cruise ship, you got to see Jason
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
cruise ship,
In
going
spaceship,
around just
Jason
killing
X was on
people.
a spaceship.
Yeah. Like,
Mm.
can you imagine if like Jason was like on a deserted island,
Oh man.
or like Jason in the Bahamas. You see like guys like playing like the steel drum, and then all of a sudden here's Jason cutting their heads off, like, and then you see like the head bouncing on the steel drums, like,
Yeah.
you know. Um, let's see here, DC Comics. What is the upcoming winter storyline later this year? So I found out DC's basically starting to make like these. I don't even want to call them event books because they don't even last very long.
Mhm.
So the smart thing is this whole Endless Winter. They're releasing this around November, December, and it's supposed to be sort of like a one at the most 2 months
Right.
a storyline where it just crosses over into certain issues, and then there's a couple one shots. So it's just essentially it's just a story arc. It sounds interesting though. It sounds fun because you're like there, Black Adam is involved in the story. Then you have like the Frost King or something like that. So they're doing that, and then they're already promoting Future State, and so they're going to do the same thing with Future State that they're doing with Endless Winter, where it's another kind of like grouped story. It's kind of similar to like what Marvel's doing with their X-Men story event, right? It's kind of similar to that, not as expanded, not as like crazy, but like the X of Swords or whatever. That story is crossing over into every X-Men title. So like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and it's bouncing from like X-Men to Uncanny X-Men to New Mutants to like whatever other mutant title, Wolverine. So I think it's kind of similar to that, where they're just doing a story arc, and it's just crossing over into certain titles and a couple one shots here and there. So I hate to say it, but I mean, like it might be one of those stories like you want to wait for trade, and
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
and, and pick it up. Unless, of course, you have a ton of money and you're bored and you're just looking to buy something, then totally buy it and check it out. I thought it was going to be like an actual like big event book, but it's not. It's nowhere near as big as like Death Metal. Like Death Metal has been very, very huge for DC right now, and way more one shots coming out than I was expecting.
Right.
But like like I feel like Death Metal is even bigger than when they did the first Dark Knight's Metal.
Right. 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 Right.
So it's pretty cool, man. I look forward to catching up on the Death Metal story. Um, and then they got like a bunch of miniseries that's getting ready to come out too. Gotta go. Great topics. Have a good night. Oh, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
See you later.
Take it easy, man. Um,
Well, I got some good
yeah.
news.
Oh, you got good news?
I got some good news. Next Sunday, Samantha's free, so it's good. The interview is moving to Sunday, not Saturday.
Oh, nice. So you just do
Yeah.
like during the day on Sunday.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
that's good. Yeah. So she's
Very
free
cool.
Sunday Eastern time. So I just said what time, so she has to get back to me about it. But that's cool.
That's awesome, man.
I'm excited.
And then
Yeah, because the one thing. See, my thing is how would they do if they did a redo a Vampirella movie? How would you want to see it as a horror comedy or horror?
you know what? I mean, I'm okay with whatever they do, to be honest.
Right,
Because I mean,
right,
I'm not as involved in Vampirella as
right,
much as
right,
you are.
right,
Like I think you would know better because you're more familiar with the character.
right,
Um, any comic book film, I'm happy to kind of like go out and
right,
support, except for that horrible Fantastic Four reboot. Um,
right.
but no, like I try to like see everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm not able to. Sometimes like I miss out on the opportunities. Like that new Hellboy that they did. I really wanted to see that in theaters,
Right.
and I missed out on it. But I ended up buying it on Blu-ray. I watched that. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Right.
You know, it's not as well done as the other two, you know, Hellboy movies.
Right.
It's different. It's different. You know, it's more. It has more of a comic book feel, I think, than
Right.
the first two. But the first two are just beautifully directed, beautifully well written and
Yeah.
crafted and acted. You know, so that's just an example. But I mean, yeah, there's man, there's so much. There's so much content out there. There's so much stuff. So it's like I look forward to seeing what else is going to be adapted, what else is going to be made. And then the cool thing too is like anytime the stuff gets made and goes into the mainstream, more people are
Right.
discovering these characters, more people are discovering, and hopefully that segues them into checking out the original source material, checking out the comics.
Right.
There's just so much, man. So much. Like I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm happy, man. I'm happy.
Right.
I mean, I never would have thought. I never would have thought that there'd be so many comic book TV shows that I can't keep up.
Dude,
You
I
know?
didn't even know. I didn't even think there would be so many like the Hong Kong artist. Like I didn't know there were so many. That stuff that got turned into movies and stuff. I did my research and I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, I mean, what I love about so like you have what's the one actor Stephen Chow.
Right.
I love Stephen Chow.
Mhm.
Like ever since I saw um,
Shaolin Soccer.
Shaolin Soccer, yeah. Shaolin Soccer, Kung Fu Hustle, those are two of his best films.
Yeah.
But I've seen
He has other comedy films. He has
he has a
other
lot.
films like that. Yeah.
He has a lot. I remember like going through Netflix and like
Yeah.
Netflix had added a bunch of his films. He had at
Yeah.
least 5-6 films that were on there that I had on my list, but I never got around to watching it.
Yeah.
But he's so good, man. He's so good. He's hilarious. It sucks that he didn't get to be Kato because there was talks that he was going to be Kato
Right.
in the Green Hornet movie.
Yeah,
And
that would have been cool to have him as Green Hornet. Dude, he's
Oh,
funny too, man, and he
he's
can
very funny.
and he can do
He's,
stunts.
he's very talented. He's very funny.
Yeah. And he written all Kung Fu Hustle. He filmed and written it and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like he is an expert. He is a he's a film legend. Like I've told myself like if I were an actor, and they said, hey, who would you like to work with? Part of me was like, I want to go make a movie with Stephen Chow. Like
Mhm.
I'll go to China, and if they have to teach me Cantonese and I have to like
No,
recite the lines,
you just bring me along, man. That's all you got to do. Bring
Yeah,
me
yeah,
along,
yeah.
and I got your back.
Yeah. You'll voice over. I'll just
Yeah,
like I'll move my lips, and then it'll be like, hey, it's your boy Jeff.
Yeah.
Kung Fu with Stephen Chow.
Yeah.
But
Dude, I remember watching him when I was a kid. Like I remember watching movies when I was like a teenager, like with him in it.
when I think of like older kung fu films, it's always Jackie Chan.
Mm.
Jackie Chan was one of those guys that really, him and of course Bruce Lee. Those two
Right.
guys, they pioneered.
Yeah. Well, the
that genre.
Jackie one's pretty funny. Jackie was actually opera singer, opera school. He actually graduated from opera school.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
he wasn't actually a martial artist exactly,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's well versed in stunts pretty much.
Oh yeah. I mean, not to mention, he had to have picked up kung fu
Yeah. Right.
doing those films.
Yeah. I mean, he did. I'm just saying.
I'm sure he's worked with other,
Yeah.
teachers.
He's been beat up by Bruce Lee, man. Who else can say he's been hit in the face by Bruce?
Well, I mean, Chuck Norris.
Well, yeah, but like actually smacked in the face with a damn kendo stick.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
he was a stunt performer and he actually got hit in the face with it.
Yeah. These opera schools I heard were brutal. Oh
Yeah.
man, listen, any school outside of the United States is
it's
probably
brutal. Dude,
I went
yeah,
I went to a school in the Philippines when we lived in the Philippines, and those teachers, they don't play around, man. Like they would smack the kids. I was just like, oh shit.
yeah.
Like
Ruler to the hand if you're using the wrong hand or right.
not even a ruler. Like I've seen teachers grab kids by the hair,
Yeah.
yank them, like stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the kids are misbehaving.
Yeah.
And part of me was just like, oh, and this was like from what I was told, it was a private school. So it's just like, oh, this is a private school. I wonder what a public school would be like over there. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, and of course it was a different time. Like maybe they don't do that anymore. I don't know.
That's well, if they're old school teachers there, yeah, those old school teachers are gonna be still doing that, but the new school ones aren't gonna be doing that.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
So like times change everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those like, yeah, everything that they experienced from their time period. Like the '60s, '70s, like
Right.
how different it was back then compared to now. You could probably get and what's funny too is like I bet you like especially in American schools you could probably get away with a lot more back then than you can
Right.
today. Yeah, U.S. schools are way too soft compared to. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's because
Yeah.
we have really good lawyers.
Yeah.
Like if lawyers weren't allowed to sue and say, oh, you can't treat our kids like this. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Right.
Um, the schools are like, hey, we want to keep our money, so
Right.
we'll make whatever changes we need to make.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm out of topics. You got anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much it, man. I mean, comic book wise, I don't think there's a whole lot going on.
You got anything coming up? Like anything special coming up? Any auctions? Anything like that?
No, not yet, not yet. I mean, I'm still kind of just playing catch up.
Mm.
Thankfully, this upcoming Tuesday it's going to be a light week, so
Mm.
like Diamond is still sending me books. That horrible, horrible company. $55 is my Diamond order,
Yeah,
and
and how many boxes are they gonna put in one box?
so far I think it's just one box. Hopefully,
Okay.
hopefully. And the only reason they're sending me one box is because I have not been submitting any damages.
Right.
Any damages that I get, I'm just eating the cost because it's not worth it. Like you saw the box. I'll tell the
Right.
people on here. They may not even know this,
Right.
but I did a box opening. I did like one of those unboxing
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
I had two boxes from
You should do it on your YouTube channel. What you should do is whenever you get those boxes, unbox them on your channel.
right. So I had like these diamond boxes. This is a perfect example right here. Two boxes that are this size right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Two box. Now this box right here, you can probably fit close to 100 comic books in this
Right.
box.
Unbagged and boarded though.
Right. Well, I mean, they very rarely do they bag and board any books.
I'm just saying.
They'll bag and board
Bag,
like Baron.
yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, you can fit close to 100 books in that box, right? I got two of those boxes last week, and in each box, one box was just filled with paper, the other
Right.
one was filled with plastic, and on the very
Right.
bottom, you had two comic books per box. Jeff, you know how much my shipping was for those two
How
boxes?
much?
'Cause
How much?
so they're always They're always, what do you call it? They are always a week behind on
Right.
charging shipping.
Right.
So
Right.
when
Right.
I checked my invoice
Right.
for this week,
Right.
they showed me how much the shipping
Right.
charge was, and that shipping charge was from last week. $29 for shipping
What? For 2 books?
for the two boxes that they sent me.
Yeah, just for just 2 books.
It was 4 books because it was two
Okay.
books in each box.
But I'm just saying, yeah. So
Yeah.
for 4 books.
I paid more for shipping than I did for the books that I ordered from Diamond. So
That's what they're. Yeah.
yeah, that is a negative loss. That
Yeah.
is a
But like I said, you should do it on your YouTube channel. Open diamond boxes on your YouTube and show them how they send them and all that other stuff. Mhm.
yeah. How much can you eat before it becomes not? It's not worth it now. It's not worth
Yeah.
it now. The only reason I'm still receiving it is so that I'm in good standing with Diamond.
Mm.
Because if you're in bad standing, with Diamond, if you want to get the account again, and the only thing that Diamond offers right now is they offer Marvel books, they offer independent books,
Right.
and then of course like some of the merchandise like shirts and figures
Right.
and statues. But yeah, no, their shipping department is garbage. Their shipping department is horrible. They're basically just stealing money from you.
Mm.
So think about it. I had 4 books that I got, 4 comic books, single issues. They were all
For
$4.
and then for 20 something bucks, they could have shipped it a lot better. They could have shipped it in Gemini mailers if they wanted
Yep.
to.
Yep. They could have. They could have shipped it all in one box, and it could have been a small box.
Or all in one Gemini mailer at least. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
it's only 4 books, it could have fit in one Gemini mailer.
I
But that's
agree.
a little push in it, but they could still fit in there.
Yeah, I agree. And
Mhm.
so they charged me $29 and change, but I'll round
Right.
it down to 29 because I'm nice.
Right.
So $29 in shipping for 4 comic books. Each
Not
comic book
worth
was each comic book was a
Dude, they only
cover
charged me. They only charged me 6 for one book, for mailing me one book. Well, like other places charge me $6 to mail one book. That's $26 for 4.
yeah. But yeah, 4 books at $4 a piece, and I think I was getting 35% off on the books. So we'll round it down to 30%, right?
Right.
So 10% of $16 is $1.60. $1.60 times 3.
Right.
That's $3 plus $1.80, so $4.80, right?
Mhm.
So $4.80, we'll round it to $5. $5 minus $16, $11. So I paid $11
Right.
for the 4 comic books that I got, but I paid $30 or $29 for shipping.
Right. Right. Not
Yeah.
worth it at all.
No, not worth it at all.
Mhm.
I don't break even. I lose money. I lost money.
Right.
But you know who made money? Diamond,
Right.
because they make money off of shipping.
Yeah. I got you.
So yeah, and I'm just waiting, man. I'm just waiting for
Yeah.
Diamond to stop sending me books. They're only sending. Hey, what's up, Genome Presents?
What's up, brother?
I'm just waiting for Diamond to stop sending me books.
Right.
the
That's not
only
gonna
re-
happen. That's not gonna. You know that's not gonna happen because then they won't be
The
making
whole-
no
the
money
whole-
from you.
Yeah, the problem is the whole COVID situation
Right.
fucked everything up.
Yeah.
So these books that I'm getting, these are books I ordered before COVID.
Right.
That they delayed, that they
Right.
stopped, and so
Right.
now they're trickling down. They're finally coming in. So, for example, remember the J.J. Abrams Spider-Man comics?
Yeah.
So number 4 is finally coming out, and that's
Right.
what's in my Diamond shipment.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully it's only 1 box. So that way, if it's only 1 box, hopefully they're only going to charge me $15 or $20 shipping for
Right.
next week.
Right.
But anyways, like my UCS shipment, that I'm receiving this week, it was like
Right.
$127.
Right.
1 box.
Right.
All in 1 box.
Right.
So yeah, UCS is much better. They are much better than
Right.
than Diamond when it comes to shipping.
Well, West Coast wise, Lunar isn't no better than the Diamond. That's what I hear.
That's what I've been hearing too, man. I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of because before DC used to have a
Mhm.
a retailer Facebook group, and there was retailers in there complaining about
Right,
shipping
right.
issues and shipping problems. Now I'm not
Yeah.
saying UCS is perfect because I think
Right.
Scott from Read More Comics,
Right.
he just mentioned that he finally got his Batman 3 Joker's shipment in. He finally
Right.
got his shipment
Right.
after a week or 2 weeks after the book had already been released.
Right.
So that sucks. That sucks. That he had to go through that issue with them. I haven't had any issues. I've been very
Right.
blessed. I've been very
Knock
lucky.
on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
You won't get no
Knock on
issues.
wood. Yeah.
Right.
The worst issue I had was the damage, and it wasn't even
Right.
UCS's fault.
Right.
It was UPS's fault
Right.
because they don't know how to handle boxes that say fragile. How do you
well,
not?
yeah, they do. They just really test how fragile it is. I heard that from a friend that actually works in UPS and works the.
I don't know, man. I think a lot
some
of times,
some of those guys actually test how fragile this thing is, and
that's so stupid.
Yeah.
But
There's some of those guys that are there are going, oh, it says
Yeah.
fragile. Let's see how fragile this is.
Which now that I think about it, if I were the owner of UPS, I'd say, okay, who are the people that were responsible handling these packages? Okay, cool. You know, you guys get a warning, or you get a write up, or
Right.
because a lot of times what happens is when there's damages, because these packages are protected. That's
Right.
why people are paying so much money through UPS.
Right.
Because
Right.
UPS
Right.
basically guarantees, like, hey, we will take care of your package. If
Right.
something happens, that's why they have insurance. If something happens to
Right.
the package, we
Right.
will cover the damages and cost.
Right.
So basically, what happens is when I get damaged books, I report the damages to
Right.
the distributor.
Right.
Then the distributor basically contacts
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
UPS
We know
representative.
that part. Yeah. We know that
Yeah,
much.
and then they basically say, hey, I have proof. I have pictures right here. This came in damaged.
Right. Right.
You know, these are all the ones that he reported that are damaged. This is the loss that we're taking.
Right.
You guys have to cover that loss. You
Right.
know, if that continuously happens
Right.
and UPS loses money, and I'll tell you right now, a company like UPS losing money, they don't want that. They
Right.
will fire employees that are
Right.
responsible for the company losing money. They will fire them.
Right.
You know, so. But then the problem though is then you hire new people, and then those new
Right.
people don't know any better. You
Right.
know, and then they start damaging boxes as well
Right.
too. So
Yeah, Randall, I'm gonna call it.
okay,
I got no other topics. So
yeah,
yeah,
you want to read the rest of the comments here?
yeah. What's up, Titus? He's just kind of he's saying what's up from Japan. Yeah,
Nice.
there's not much going. Yeah, man, it's like yeah,
All right, cool, man.
yeah.
It was a good talk.
It was. Let me tell them what's going on my channel, and you
Yeah,
already
yeah,
told them not much going on yours. So
yeah.
yeah, I got a bunch going on next week because of the oh my god. Well, guys, if you guys didn't hear, the news is I got Samantha actually to do an interview on Sunday. She's actually free Sunday. I just got to figure out what time. So Anthony and her are gonna be interviewed on my channel on Sunday, sometime on Sunday. So keep an eye out, guys. Keep your notifications on for that. Then I have Kentony's Comic Wednesdays coming out. Then I have the Extreme Nerd Table every Sunday. Then I have Silver Age Sunday on Javi's channel, Conquistador's channel. Then I have on Robert's channel the Comic Collective show. Midnight's his time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. That's pretty much it, guys. You know who this is. You know what this is. It's Kentony's Comic Kid signing out. Yep.